Yeah, that's all good. But see, since they tell me you got to have an ID to go in the federal building, I go down there sometimes. You can't get
What
in
the
unless
hell
they.
you going in the federal building after you get out of the system?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to be able to go in the building to do business. If I have any
you
business.
get the identification right now, okay? That
you don't need You don't need identification to go in the federal building, because I've been in there without identification. All you do is sign your name.
But here's what they have in Seattle. I'm in Seattle. Those assholes, every time you go into those buildings, they will, you got to have it. And the only one they accept, I tried to go into a notary, getting all this other stuff, and they just ignore it. So what I'm going to do, well, if I got to have this friggin' go to the state, but I want the state to give me my ID and my proper
if you heard
name.
the tapes, like I said, if you listen to Patrick's tapes, he'll tell you that the Secretary of the State will have, he just said it, they will give you ID, and they have to protect themselves from you, because now you're their boss.
Well, can I go down?
Hey, let's stop, okay? Listen to this, okay? Go down to your sheriff's office and get a set of fingerprints on the blue card. Ask them for a picture identification also at the same time. The machines have that capability to take a black and white picture of you and put it on a card. Not on a card, but on a sheet of paper, and have your fingerprints. You don't have to give them your damn Social Security number. You say, I don't have one. You may have to try and argue with them a little, but basically you can get it. I did it.
Okay, well, here's what I want to do. The sheriff's office is downtown. Tomorrow I go down there and just put that into them and tell them I need an ID card, and I don't have one. The state won't give me one in the way I want to get it. I want to get it. I take my birth certificate with me and tell them I just want my Donald on my and then I put the dashes on it and get me an ID card just in my Christian name. That's all I would need, I would think. And then when they ask me for an ID card, that's what I'll show them.
Yeah, just pull that out and give it to them. Say, hey, here's this is valid, this is authorized, and this is signed by the out of the sheriff's office. It's on their machine, okay? What more do you want?
There you go, and I have my prints on it. And just my picture and prints and first name.
Okay, and I said this about 2 years ago, okay?
Oh, okay. I never heard that part yet, but I do remember you saying something about going to the sheriff and things that you have done. Now it's more clear-cut of what I got to do. I just first want to be able to have an ID card that would satisfy them people, because then I'd do the rest, because I'm used to dealing with those people, and I know the only way you can deal with them is deal like you do.
The thing is, when you get going on this, you're not even going to be Nick down there dealing with them.
I understand that. This is why your stuff is so dynamite.
Then basically just sort of calm down, and back away from them, okay?
I've got you. Thanks for the info.
Get your paperwork in and get out of the system, and just keep your mouth shut until you get out. Don't go down there and try and confront them.
I got you.
Yeah, and listen to the tape like 4 times. Listen to the conference calls.
Okay.
I will do that. You said that was December the 23rd.
No, December 30th.
Oh, December. Okay, I'm writing it down.
And listen to the last 3 calls.
Okay, I'm writing this down. December the 30th. Sounds good.
Patrick, this is more I'm on right now, okay? I've been listening to you guys for a minute.
Okay.
Somebody's typing.
Bill,
yes,
are you there?
Yes, we get a lot of background noise. If you're not speaking, please *6 yourself out, because we hear a lot of dishes being washed and pans being clattered and typing and papers being rattled and all kinds of things, and it's disturbing. Please.
Okay, *6.
*6. Well, there's no rattling on here.
Okay, go ahead, Amr.
Okay.
Well, I'm just announcing myself right now.
Okay.
Anybody else want to announce themselves that they're on here?
We're waiting to hear all the good news, Patrick. I hear you have good news.
Patrick,
Well,
I'm
basically,
here.
there's more. There's a little more
Hi,
tidbit
Patrick.
here to it. Okay.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
Yeah, people busting in is because when they come on and they're coming in late, the voice tells them to announce themselves, and we're already in the call, so they're interrupting.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, but that's the way the call's set up. So you got to.
That's the way it's set up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, but not everybody gets off work at the same time.
Yeah. Everybody has to realize out here that basically you are the curator, okay? But you haven't claimed your office yet, okay? They set up the certificate of live birth and also the selective service accounts out here as the collateral documents. And basically they assigned a name to those. Those became the pro-curator. They basically pro-curated our assets from us. Okay? You need to look up these words and understand what they say. A pro-curator is a person employed, okay, employed to manage the affairs of another, an agent, a representative. So he has been employed to manage our affairs until we came of age. Now, he is just a pro-curator, but he is a fiction. So he has to have some guardian or curator standing over him, and that became the state. They became the curator until we step in and take the office back. Now, Chris was listening to one of these guys on one of the other talk shows, and he brought up this form at the Secretary of State's office, and the form that he had was, just a second, I think 510 was the form that he found in California there.
No, it's RA 100. That's RA 100.
Oh, that's right. That's RA1. Yeah, okay.
The Resignation of Agent.
Yeah. And I posted that up on the site, okay, in the folder, You Are an American Curator. And the one that they have there is a 2-page document, but basically it's only 1 page that needs to be filled out and sent in. Well, I went to the state of Iowa and found the ones that the state of Iowa has. They have 2 of them, okay? One is Statement of Resignation of Registered Agent. Pretty simple form. No notaries, no nothing. You do it all yourself. You send it in. And on this one, basically, the one for the state of Iowa, I can even come in and terminate that registered office or that business office.
Well, the office itself?
Yes. It says to the registered office, if the office is not discontinued. Well, basically, I'm going to discontinue it. The registered office is discontinued at the same time.
Dale Smith.
So I'm going to be terminating this business entry office.
Brother, Patrick.
Yeah.
Now this is a more.
Okay.
I noticed you said that they are the procreator.
Curator.
No, our fictional person is the procreator.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, the mother.
No, we're not going there, okay?
Okay.
Okay? It's this way and this way only.
I got you.
We are the curator or the creator. And basically, he procreated from us. He took our assets from us. So he became the procurator for the state under that certificate of title. Nothing more. It's not complicated. It's simple.
Gotcha.
Okay? Too many people out here have been trying to throw too much shit in the bullpen here and getting everything all screwed up. That's why nobody can figure this shit out. It's because there's too damn much bullshit that people need to walk around in. Start cleaning the damn barn out a little, and you might be able to walk in there without getting shit all over your shoes. At least that's what my dad told me about cleaning the barn out.
That's the bar.
Yeah. Clean it out, and then you won't have shit all over your shoes. I did grow up on a farm. In fact, I'm still on the farm.
Well, you can't get a cure list on the farm because that's where the pharmaceutical or the pharmatory is.
Well, basically, yeah. But see, people don't even understand how the system of operating here on planet Earth really operates, okay? Anybody that grows anything upon the land, they are entitled to 100% of its usage. But when they go underground, they are only entitled to 10% of that. And their labor that took it to bring it to the surface of the planet. The other 90% goes to the rest of the people that are in that nation.
And so is that why Melchizedek took the 10% from Abraham?
Yes. Because they were taking so much from the land, underneath the land, for the benefit of the people. The King Solomon and everything. Okay? The assets belong to the people of this country. Our security is in the land. It's not in these insurance policies. These insurance policies are a piece of shit. Our security is in the land.
Isn't
we
that
can always go and dig up more security. We need more assets. We go and dig it up, right?
Right.
Okay. Now let's get back on this procurator and curator. The state stepped in when, since we were underage, and our fictional person with the certificate of live birth became the procurator and took, it was employed as an agent for us, a registered agent, okay? And the state became the curator. That's what you have to send the bills to, is basically if they want to be the curator, send them to the guardian. Give them to the state. That you want your assets, so basically you're going to have to get rid of that registered agent. He's going to have to do a resignation, but you also have to go in and get rid of all those insurance policies and all of those fraudulent tax underwritings. You go into tax court and basically you make the statement that you revoke all underwritings, and basically you'll see something happen a hell of a lot different in this damn tax court than what has been going on. That nobody has ever gone in that tax court and said they revoked the underwritings. They haven't used the right word. Yeah. you come in and you revoke the underwritings. That means you're under the damn coffin. You're in the cesspool. They're throwing the coffin in on top of you. And the lid is on the top, so you can't get anything out of the bottom.
They're the undertaker.
Well, you're trying to be an undertaker, but basically there's no trap door to take something out of the coffin on the bottom side.
Oh.
The lid's on the top, so you got to be standing over it.
That's why they call them coffers.
Yeah.
See, they're doing.
All these words have meanings if people just sit down and think about these things logically. As Mr. Spock would say.
Yeah.
It's illogical. And basically, when you sit and listen to half these other people out here on these talk shows and everything, and I don't care what damn talk show they're on, listen to them. Are they really talking logical, or is it really illogical that sounds logical?
So, Brother Patrick, what you're basically saying is they are doing invocation, and we're supposed to do revocation.
Yeah. Resurrection. We've got to resurrect ourselves out of the damn system.
And
just like what Jesus did. Okay? Just like what Moses, Daniel, and all the other prophets and everything out there had to do. Jonah in 3 days in the belly of the whale. I mean, those stories were trying to tell you something. But I'll post up the documents that I had here. I said the Statement of Resignation of Registered Agent. They also have another form here at the state of Iowa, and it's called the Statement of Change of Registered Office and or Registered Agent. Now, both of these, when we're sending them in for our situation, are free. They have a fax number. I think the California one had the email. You could email it right into them, but you always try and follow it up with a certified mail of it also. I think Chris said that it would take, what'd you say, 30 days to get the thing fully processed?
When you read the instructions at the bottom of RA 100, it actually says that you can actually enter all the data in on the online services and get it up and running, but you have to send in a hard copy thereafter of the same information. And it could take up to 30 days as to change the class and status. Or you can walk it in, too. As soon as you walk it in, that's the real cure right there.
Yeah, that would be the best thing if you could do that.
yeah, I'm gonna walk mine now.
But take a look at this. That I think all we need to do, and I looked the two over that I got, and I think I only need to do the one, just to do the resignation one for the fictional person. Now it reverts back to the living person. Now they have to shut it down. When you make it that way to where it reverts back to the living, they have to shut that business entry down right now, 3 days. Because they have to get you back into a state of commerce.
I think that the benefit would be to go back and revisit some of the stuff you were talking about by receiving new identification from the Secretary of State as part of the acknowledgement that you're no longer engaged in commerce, that you are free of that. And I think that it would be important for us to do an affidavit or a declaration that we no longer wish to be a participating party to felony or crime or fraud. Therefore, we are
just keep it simple, Chris. Just say it's against our religious beliefs. It's against our religion and our beliefs. And the state cannot override your religion and your beliefs. Right?
Yeah. No, that's an easy way of doing it.
Yeah. And basically, then we also put that notice concerning American Civil Curator relationship in. That we've declared our person deceased, so that's why he's resigning his position, is because he's dead. And then we're coming in as basically the curator over him.
In other words, what Brother Patrick is saying is you're going to do a salvage operation on your vessel. That's how you get your salvation, by doing salvation. You're going to have to do a salvation operation.
Yeah.
It's what they try to do is fill the insurance policy off your stuff.
But you still need to go in and shut down that Social Security Cyclops policy and all add-on insurance policies, the licenses, the certificate of titles to your vehicles, your house, your mortgages, your bank accounts, all of those fraudulent insurance policies, the FDIC insurance. You cannot operate with insurance in the living world. Insurance is only for the dead and the incompetent. Okay? The ones that needed to be taken care of out here. And if you want to be in the private, you're not to be taken care of. You're to take care of yourself.
So, is insurance the same as assurance?
No. I don't think it has anything to do with the belly buttons, inning and outies.
Oh, when do you put the credit?
It's just a fraud. It's just a fraudulent way of them taking your money away from you. Just look at it from that aspect. Okay?
Well, the way I'm looking at it, brother, is when I was in the industry and when I was asking about the bonds, and I'm like, well, why are we bonding these circuit boards? And my master teacher was telling me, I'm like, well, why are we bonding these? I said, well, we got it grounded. You have the hot wire, you have your neutral, you have the ground. But the neutral can become a ground. It's basically electricity. But why are we putting bonds on it if we have your bond? I mean, if you have your hot, you have your neutral, you have your ground. Why are we doing a bond? And I remember my supervisor told me, he said, well, you look at this, apprentice. Look at the bond as an insurance policy. I said, an insurance policy, and he tried to go into that with me. And I understand, based on what you're saying. That's why they can only charge you in the court if you have grounds to charge somebody. It has to be grounded.
Yeah, because they're underground and they want to absorb what you have above ground.
Right, and the judge is a neutral party. But if
he's not neutral.
Run your mouth,
wait, stop right there. That judge is not neutral. That judge is making a profit off the whole damn deal, and that's in total violation. Right, but he has to have grounds to do that. Yeah, that's in total violation of the laws of being an impartial judge. He is not impartial, period.
And you're correct. You're incorrect. What the judge is trying to trick you into doing is giving him ground.
Yeah, giving him
some of your mouth.
Yeah, he wants. Yeah, he wants to make some money and basically get paid extra off of your labor. Okay?
See, he's supposed to be your savior, but he's not your savior.
He's not supposed to be our savior. That was done away with in the 11th Amendment. We are the court. Only if we cannot handle it entirely, then we would resort to a judge to come in and do a complaint, sort of like the two women that came to King, I forget what that one king was, that basically when they had the child.
Had the child, yeah.
That was Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon, okay?
That was Solomon.
And basically he sat there and made the determination of who the real mother was because she was willing to give the child up to save the child.
Right.
But the Jezebel money changer wanted to have the baby cut in half. Didn't give a shit about life and death. Only wanted per bond, just like the Jew in the movie Merchant of Venice. All he wanted was his damn bond. Well, he screwed himself right into basically losing it all. And see, that's what these guys will do. They are so naive, so stupid. I mean, these damn judges and attorneys are fucking stupid. They don't know the damn law. They know this fraudulent law, but that's not the real law. And if you know the real law, you can take these guys down.
I kind of believe
Patrick,
what they're doing.
Patrick, one of the things that was spoken about today is that if you don't have another agent to assign this to, is you assign the Secretary of State as to the agent to take care of all these bills and whatnot.
And that guy in that audio was wrong in that regards. Okay?
You think?
Yes. If we're closing down and we're getting rid of our agent, we're closing down the whole business entity. That means it all has to be settled, liquidated, and then we take it into a private estate. See, that's what he didn't understand.
Yeah, he didn't.
He keeps thinking, and basically in the whole damn audio, he kept saying, the state owns the name. The state don't own shit. They're a fiction. A fiction cannot own anything. I wish people would wake up to that fact.
Well, Pat, this is BLT. I'm going to supplement here a little note, because if you do, he was mentioning if you do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, then they do have to close it. They have to liquidate it all and return all the proceeds.
Have you done a Chapter 7?
You're staying in their system.
Have you done a Chapter 7?
I've
done a Chapter 7, and basically they didn't liquidate everything and give me all my assets back. They only did a little portion of it. They only do what you request them to do in a Chapter 7.
And then they're not going to give you nothing out of it. You're going to give them
something. They're going to still try and keep you in the system because it's not to their advantage to shut it down.
Yep.
So a Chapter 7 ain't going to cut it. We've gone to the bankruptcy. How many times, Bill?
Oh, man, I lost track.
Yeah. And we even had the judges tell us, you can do this thing yourself. Didn't they, Bill?
That's right.
Yeah, they said, you can do this yourself. You don't need us.
Exactly what they said.
Yeah. Now we find this form with the Secretary of State, and we get rid of this registered agent. We just did it ourselves. There's no notary, no damn nitwit public person on there. Just us, the living.
What's the name of the form?
What state are you in? What state are you in?
South Carolina.
Well, you're going to have to find your own, but it's in the state of California. It's an RA 100, and it's called
Resignation of Agent.
Resignation of Agent.
Yep.
Yeah, and the one in the state of Iowa is a statement of resignation of registered agent. So you can go into the state of Iowa and look at it there.
And I looked it up on a couple of different states, and there's two different versions, like Patrick was saying. One of them is the resignation of the agent, and the other one's the what is it? With the rescission one?
The changing of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Statement of change of registered office or registered agent.
Right.
So normally they'll have two of them. Okay. And see, that would be like for a woman, okay, to change her registered name when she gets married. They have to have these forms out here for you to basically make the changeovers if you want to stay in their system, or if you are smart enough to come out of their system. But to totally come out of their system because of the insurance system that they have and the fraudulent taxing system that they have, you have to revoke all underwritings, and you have to get rid of that Social Security Cyclops mother. I'm not going to say it. Several guys already know what I call the damn thing. Okay. But you need to get rid of that Cyclops insurance policy. And then you can get out of the system. They can't keep you there any longer. You're now like Jason and the Argonauts. You've gotten your golden fleece. All of this was in mythology.
They don't want to see me coming down to the Secretary of State the next day or so.
Oh, they don't want to see me anywhere.
They don't want to see nobody coming down there with this stuff. I remember they ran us out. So y'all can do the internet. Don't come back in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of this you can just send in by, like I said, by fax or whatever. And website, you can send it into their website.
Let me just say here in California, it's absolutely free to file this form. However, if it says also if you decide you want to take it in, it costs $15 to do it in person. So don't do it in person. You don't have to. You can do it online. And if you want copies, they're $1 for the first page and 50 cents for each. But if you want a certified copy, then it's going to be $5. So make sure you read your directions that come with all these forms, because that's how the system actually has the capacity of at all to function, because there's no brain behind it. It has to work like gears in a transmission. When it's not meshing properly, it bogs down and they pull out the obstruction, which might be something that somebody handwritten, and try to get something done that they don't know what to do with it because it's not attached. Now, one person, I wanted to say, he tried to do this thing, his name's Kurt, with the IRS, and they gave him a great clue, and they said, "What this isn't on an IRS form. This is an IRS form." And she kept repeating it without telling him exactly what she needed to have on it. And what they needed to have to make it function is the form number on the handwritten item as a substitution for that form. Then they know what to do with it.
Yeah, now like the name of the business entry, okay? Well, what is the name of the business entry that you're dealing with? Well, basically the very top, it has like state of, okay? So that means that this is a 14th Amendment state of the original state, okay? So you put all capital state of, like California, state of Iowa, whatever. And then it's certificate of live birth. Then it's dash your name that's on the certificate. That is the business entry. The name of the business entry is that whole thing.
My name is Joel Lamarca.
Okay, mute yourself out, *6, and just listen. Then you have your principal office address, and then you have your registered office address. And basically the registered office would be what was shown on the certificate of live birth when it was registered. That was your registered office. And now your principal office is where you're at right now. I mean, this, especially the Iowa one here, is very, very simple. And then it says, registered office of business entry is or is not discontinued at the same time. I'm going to say it is.
Hey, Patrick.
It's going down.
I was looking at the RA 100 form that you guys are discussing right now, and it's a good form, but the one thing that kind of stood out to me was where it says on line 5 for statement of resignation, it goes as far as to name the individual signing as the undersigner. Now, in light of what you discussed with being an underwriter, and then the application you presented by signing at top of your document with the stamp and the seal and everything, like, do you think that you could utilize that format
you print the name, the undersign. You print his name in there. It's the dead guy that is doing the undersigning now. Read what it says. The undersign here resides as agent. Well, who's resigning? The dead person.
Okay.
Exactly. Pretty simple. You're not undersigning anything, but you're going to sign the thing, okay? But it's not as an undersigner.
No, you're the declarant.
So then that would take away that his procuratorship.
Yeah, he's dead, so he basically can't procreate anything more.
Okay.
He has to surrender it. He's dead. You can go and take the ring off his finger and bury him.
He's been sterilized.
What Brother Patrick is basically saying to you is you're resigning. When you resign,
well, we aren't. Our dead person is.
Well, the dead person is. When you dealing with corporation, you're considered dead. But when you resign, you can go back into the living. You in the private sector.
Yeah, we are reassigning him back above ground.
It's called
we're going to reassign him from our left hand to our right hand.
Right. Remember, when these people are running this thing, they're dead people too. But when they resign from the corporation, they're resigning. They're being reassigned.
Yeah.
They have to come out.
Now, when the resignment occurs through this form, do you think it would also be wise to send in a claim or a notice of office for that position?
Wait a minute. I would put also that notice concerning American Civil Curator relationship. Okay? That document that I made up. Okay?
Yes.
And we're coming in as I certify that I have the authority to execute the following notice by standing over my assigned artificial public procurator.
Okay.
And basically, he's dead, and then at the very end, nature of civil curator's claims. I am claiming the return of my inherent birthing legacy, estate, and all accrued interest. And I'm claiming the return of all illegal and fraudulent collected taxes. Other, described. Okay, if you have a military DD 214 selective service, you would put that down in other block. I posted that document up there in Word document so that you can basically modify it yourself.
Are you talking about the curator letter, Patrick?
Yeah, this is the notice concerning American Civil Curator relationship.
Yeah, I think I've got that. If anybody needs it, I'll post it in the Skype window.
It's also posted in the backup.
And basically, you could also take out civil, and you could start utilizing the word homeland. Okay? You are the homeland of America. Okay? You're the Homeland Department. Now, the Secret Service works for the Department of the Homeland. Well, if we're the department, then they are working for us. We're the executor of the homeland. Is it not our home, and is it not our land? Yes, it is. Did they use these terms inappropriately? No. Hell, Hitler tried to make this over there in Germany. They called it the fatherland, but the people didn't see it there either. And a lot of them tried to revolt against it.
America is called the motherland.
Well, basically, it's now the homeland. It's my home. Okay, it's not my mother's.
You're right, but land is usually referred to as mother.
Yeah. Because we all came from there. All the minerals that make up our body came from the land. So really, in a sense, the mother is the earth, okay? And then the father is our spirit who took all the minerals and put them all together, built all those Lincoln blocks, and created this stinking little body that shits all over the place.
Brother, I don't know if I know you from the state of Iowa. I don't even know if you're from the moon Iowa or the state of Iowa.
I'm from the galaxy never.
Never.
Hell, never was, never will be. Just not here at all.
Forever.
I'm not here at all.
I ain't going for that. No, you some other stuff. You past, present, and future.
Hey Patrick, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, this is George. I'm looking at the new information that you just presented today, and I'm going through the Secretary of State up here in Washington's website, and it looks like they're giving us both options: the statement of change and they want us to mail in a letter for the resignation of the agent. So my question is, should I just follow through with both process, the statement of change?
No, you should basically pull up the codes that they have and read those over and find out exactly what needs to be done.
Okay.
Each state is going to be a little different.
Right.
Okay, but they shouldn't be that much different. There should be a real easy, straightforward way to get out of this in 3 days' time.
Okay, do you have any idea what a UBI number is?
No, I don't know that you're even looking at the right form.
No, I'm actually on the Secretary of State's website.
I know, but I don't know that you're really looking at the right form.
Look up under miscellaneous.
Good question. Do we do this for our birthing state?
Yeah, that was the next question. Because looking at it, it looks like we should be doing this with the state that we were born in, as well as the state that we're living in.
The state you're born in.
Well, let me supplement there. If you read the form, the RA, it tells you exactly what to do. It says the entity's file number. That'll be your birth certificate number. That's box number 3. And in box number 4, it says jurisdiction. When entering the jurisdiction, state, county, or other place, under which the above-named entity was organized. That means the birthplace.
But see, they don't even have that here on the state of Iowa.
Hey, wait a minute. Where is your birthplace?
Colorado.
Bull crap.
The entity
Where were you born?
The entity was born there.
Oh, no. Hold on. Everybody stop. Where were you born?
I don't know who you is. I only knew who I am.
This is a Moore. This is a Moore.
I was born
now,
in
I'm gonna
Iowa.
ask you a question. Bull crap. You was not born in Iowa. Is your
I was
mama
born
named Iowa?
in the territorial land of Iowa.
All right, Patrick, brother, I understand what you're saying. I'm talking to this guy right here, and I'm gonna grab it.
For what we're dealing with, you have to deal with where this certificate was born.
I got you, and you're right. He's gonna answer this for himself.
And when I landed, I basically put my feet on a piece of paper in the territory of Iowa.
And you're correct. You are very correct. But we're gonna redirect what you're saying. I'm talking to this guy right here. I'm gonna ask you one more time. Where were you born?
You have to. I can't make a legal determination of your question without a bona fide
I'm going to answer where you. I asked you that for a reason.
And I'm answering you for a reason.
And I know you. I know that. But this is a meeting of the mind. And Brother Patrick is a master of this. And if he rip me a new one, I will deal with that. You was born in your mother's womb.
No, I wasn't born in my mother's womb. I was born from my mother's. From my mother's.
No, stop.
We started our gestation period. Okay.
Listen.
Born in here.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
We were birthed in the state of Iowa or the state of Colorado.
I didn't ask him where he was birthed, brother.
Okay.
I did not ask him where he was birthed.
He was cooked in the oven of his mother's womb, okay?
Bam! That's where you was born.
You know, he was cooked.
And birth are two different things.
I was roasted and roasted.
I've never ever heard of a born certificate. I've heard of birth certificate. That is a legal termination.
Yeah.
But the lawful thing is you was born in your mother's womb. That is a vessel. That's where you get your nativity from. That's where your nationality comes from. Your mother is the ship. That's where you get your citizenship from. That's where your mother's ship is. Your mother. That's where you was born.
Okay.
Not trying to upstage, brother.
But for all intents and purposes, what we want to do is
we all know that pretty much, okay? We've got that down pretty well. Let's continue on here, okay?
About the form. The form tells you what it wants to know about the entity. It's not asking about who you are and how you are. It's asking about the entity and that you're resignating the agent for that entity.
Right. Yeah, that's all it's asking. It doesn't say anything about birthing place or anything like that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So just fill out whatever the form calls for, okay? Huh?
Born. This is a trick, brother.
Okay,
Patrick.
we're off of that, Amir. Okay, let's drop it. Okay. We got bigger things here to talk about than being born or birthed or whatever. We all know that. We've heard that too much down the road. Let's get on and let's get out of this. Let's do the resignation. We're already born, so we're not going to be reborn again. Okay. We're going to be resurrected. You can't be born twice. We had one birthing, and that's all we're going to get.
Well, can I change my name on the civil true right relationship form?
Yeah, you can put down a new, like the one Tad there, that you can reassign a new change of registered office or registered agent. And see, that's what a woman does when they get married. They should be filling one of these forms out. They should have been changing their registered agent name.
Well, I'll be damned. You just said it right there, brother. They was born again.
Well, no, they were renamed, okay? They were just given a new name, a new makeover. Hell, women always love to put on makeup.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Just for everybody, if you want to know what the government, how they define it, it's born alive. You can go to 1 USC 8 and look at A and B. I just posted it in the Skype window for everybody to read. This is the definition of born alive, a living man.
Yeah, well, we've gone over this, I don't know how many, about at least once or twice every time over the last 5 or 6 years. So I'm getting tired of going over it. I don't think we need to really rehash it, okay? I'm trying to get forward here and get out of the system and give something that people can think about tonight and put into action tomorrow morning. Okay? That's what I'm trying to do. Okay? So we don't have the time to sit around and argue about being born or birthed or whatever. Okay? We've done that. We're out here where most of us are over the age of 21 or we're over the age of 25, so we're long past the damn birthing process.
I have a request, Patrick.
What?
I want to ask Chris to please share that document with me in the Skype window.
Okay.
Because Thomas Wildart kicked me out of the Skype for posting the EIN manual. So I'm not there. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. It's coming your way.
Thank
now,
you.
see, if you've been naturalized, okay, you got to think about this. You may not be able to go to the state that you're living in. You may have to go to the secretary of the state of the country and find a form there if you've been naturalized.
And if one is not naturalized, it's the same thing.
Well, you're in the country on some other piece of paper, okay? So you're registered to the secretary for the United States Secretary of State's office, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's going to be the place you're going to have to go to find out.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
We're getting some conversations built up in the background again. People talking pretty far off microphone, but we can still hear it.
If anybody needs the American Curator Relation template, let me know now because I've got it up to click and drag over to anybody that's requesting it.
Did you share this with us, Chris?
That document is...
It's also on the group site, and Tom's also got it in his extra folders there, too.
All right.
I'll send it to you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, so, and then basically what I did this morning, I sent into the Secret Service. I sent them a fax, and basically I came in as the Home-Land PEO-Curator. And basically then I put under Secret Service the Iowa Field Office, Department of the Homeland Security. The statement that I put, an American Home-Land PEO/Curators notice to the Department of Homeland Security Service agents is also a legal notice to all civil and public agents and their principal office holders. Public and political are basically the same thing. If you look up the definitions of political and also public, in the dictionary, especially in Anderson's. And then we come in as a home-land curator's executive orders to them.
Patrick?
Yeah.
What did you think about the comments? Have you looked at the law of agencies documents yet that I just posted? Have you seen that? And what do you think about that? It's a set of laws that they're actually engaged with, right, with what we're dealing with.
You can put it in there, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it would give a little extra beef to it, okay?
Yep. Yep.
The only thing I wouldn't recommend is putting any reference if it has to do with any codes whatsoever. Do not give credence to their codes as being valid laws. They're not. That means CFRs, USCs, state codes, they're not real valid laws for the living. And if you want to be the living in the private, you can't reference their damn laws because you're giving credence to them being valid.
Hey, can someone mute, man? It's boring. It's listening to that shuffling, man.
Yes, I've been talking about that. Yeah.
They're working in the kitchen or something.
Yeah, somebody is working in the kitchen, and they may be on the Skype. If you're on the Skype call into the group, *6 isn't going to work. You're going to have to cancel your microphone on the Skype window.
Yeah. Mute out.
Yeah, hit the mute button on your Skype microphone, or turn your switch off or something. Put a piece of tape over your phone, whatever, so that the sound doesn't come through.
Because we're hearing some clanking going on.
Clanking? Like pots and pans?
Yeah, mute out if you can. It sounds like you.
It was me?
And see, we're coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got to come in and notify these guys that we've revoked all public underwritings associated with the SSN by way of the DTC, Insured Products Department, and also the public IRS. Okay, all of those 1099A or 1099s, 1041s, or 1040s, 1041s, the 1096 forms, you're being an underwriter on all of those forms when you really sit down and look at it. And basically most all of them, anytime that they have something on a damn document that says under penalty of perjury, throw that damn document away, because the living does not go under penalty of perjury. Only the fiction. We ought to be penalizing the hell out of them. For the conspiracy that they're operating under. Because they're the ones that are out here to defraud this country.
I think the best thing that could ever be brought forward is that they have involuntarily involved us with treason and with felonious acts, of which, once we become aware of that, we have every right in the whole world, anywhere in the world, as not to participate. And Michael, what was that PC 127 statement that it is a are you there, Michael?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, PC 127 is a subordination of perjury.
That's there. Okay, yeah.
Subordination of perjury. That means essentially that, well, if you are somehow forced or coerced into signing for something that you might be found perjurous of, then they become the perjurers. And that's what the subordination of it, perjury is, and it's a penal code 127. And they become the perjurers, not you.
Yeah, so it's like a subordination of treason, a subordination of felony. If you use that word, I was inadvertently born into a country that ran this crap out on everybody, and I was subject to it, and they're bringing actions against me. But in the real true sense of the matter is that I was forced into all this stuff because of their own felonious acts. So,
right. And see, that's also a violation of, I think, the 13th Amendment, isn't it?
Involuntary slavery?
Yep.
Yeah, involuntary slavery. You're right.
Yeah.
And two, they breached your Fifth Amendment rights, right, to incriminate yourself?
Yep. And basically, they've also breached the 10th Amendment to where they've taken on items that they did not have delegated to them. They basically threw these things up and said, we have this right. They don't have that right. We have the right of free travel out here. We don't need a driver's license. We don't need to have insurance, okay? This country operated for, what was it, almost 100 and, let me see, 100 and, I'll say almost 150 years without no damn stinking insurance for the general population of the country. Now all of a sudden we need to have insurance? Everybody needs to have it? No, they only brought it in originally for the damn government, the 14th Amendment government people, to protect their butts. But now they put it over all of us so that they can utilize it against us. They're the beneficiaries, not us. And he who benefits is the one that owes the bill.
The water has to drip so the pipes don't freeze.
Oh, okay.
There's two women conversing in the background. Please get off the air.
It would probably do everybody good to also take a look at the Office of Personnel Management, the civil servant manual that I put together and passed out to everybody is quite impressive because it follows the Constitution in its strictest manner. Anytime you've got a public official functioning in two capacities, it's an automatic dismissal and termination of their public civil servant office. They will not be able to hold that office as long as they're not getting reports by the people of claims or complaints against inconsistency or noncompliance issues of dealing with these public civil servants, is that they will continue doing what they're doing. So it's important for everybody to realize that when you're calling a public official functioning outside of their authority, that is a reportable event that can have their job in a second. And that doesn't include any prosecutions or anything else. And it plays an important part with us when we come down to doing all this withdrawal of the underwriting. If you have complaints or claims that you've had in the past in regards to the misconduct and or the noncompliance of public officials functioning outside of their civil servant duties, that is a cause for you to go ahead and withdraw your underwriting under anything and everything.
Right.
Chris, the Victims Compensation Program in California has repeatedly stated that the courts and the judges are not civil servants. They're not part of the California at all. They're a private corporation doing business.
Yeah, they're there to make a profit. And so basically, they have no real jurisdiction over you, okay, period. And basically, they're there only operating on insurance policies out here, and you need to go in and pull the underwriting away from them. Now they become the one that is obligatory to make settlement because they're the beneficiary of those damn insurance policies. They've got all the benefits.
The reasons why I wanted to say about the Office of Personnel Management is when you file any kind of a claim or a complaint for noncompliance of a public civil servant is that starts an initiation of pulling out from underneath them all their grant funding. That means that they will not get a dime until the completion of the claim or complaint against that officer, and it also will nullify and void out any other action that may be loose-ended, even if you pulled out the underwriting. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to accomplish putting that person in a situation that their profiteering is absolutely forbidden. The Office of Personnel Management makes it very clear. There is no public civil servant that can use that office in any capacity for profiteering. Period.
Yeah. So
no, that's the
they're out
California
there as they're out there strictly as a rogue shithead, okay, a vampire, sucking a vagabond, okay, a panhandler, trying to get you to put your underwriting in their damn cup.
Exactly.
They do not produce anything.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, they are utilizing all of our assets for their benefit because they can't think for themselves.
And just think about it, Pat. If we were to really think tank this thing, and we actually got I was looking at the complaint form under the Inspector General for the Government Accounting Office, and they meant business. The stuff I read off of their site says that if you, as an individual, find anything with any public civil servant that is not consistent to the job description and the strict limitations of that office, if you find anything that needs to be reported, you need to give a claim and a report, and they got a hotline for 24 hours a day as to report criminal activity by people that have sworn into and this includes judges. Don't ever think that they're not included. When you go to the Office of Personnel Management and they get a paycheck from the grant funding from the United States government, you can damn well bet if they are functioning in a double agency capacity at the state level for profiteering, the federal government wants to know. They want to know for sure that they're paying and these people using those offices to make profits on top of what they're paying from the federal government. And they're serious about this. This is major serious business. When you file a claim and a complaint for noncompliance and profiteering in a public office with them, they will make sure it happens. You will be very satisfied.
This is the GAO at the federal level, but it applies to offices at all levels?
The Office of Personnel Management is part of the Ombudsman program, is part of the Office of Budget Management, and is part of GAO, is part of the whole accounting that gets sent. The way the state works is they send in these, we certify that this is true and correct as to the process of the judicial system, and when they do that, they're sanctioning for grant funds to cover that. And what they're doing is they're sending it up to the DTC, just like what Pat's talking about, and they're actually withdrawing funds from your account. But what they're doing is they're not following the law. They're not following the statutes, the codes. They're not procedures, no forms. And what they're doing is they're signing off true and correct. That's perjury. So you've got the whole judicial system withdrawing funds through these grant fund programs through the GAO, the OPM, the OBM, and the Ombudsman program, and they're doing it through the state with the State Office of Personnel Management. They are authorized as to issue grant funds to public officials predicated that they are in compliance to the Civil Servant Manual. It's as easy as that.
You need to send that. You need to put that. Needs to be on the website because I think everybody got a problem with that.
You bet.
Bill. That needs to be on the website immediately.
Yeah, let's work, Chris. Let's work together and get that organized on the website.
I don't know who the hell you are, what your name is, but you are Vice President Patrick Devine to me, whoever you are.
Did you hear that, Pat?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
Who the hell you are?
Chris, these judges are not only getting paid, but they're also being subsidized by the county government.
Man, look here, you get that on the website. That needs to be the hot Crazy.
Isn't there a Richard Fine out in California going after that exact issue, getting judges disqualified because they're paid by the county?
Yeah, but he's going and trying to fight with them in the judicial system.
Oh, well,
and you can't fight with the devil in his own den. You have to
that's what we've been trying to tell. That's what Rod Klaus keeps trying to do. He tries to fight with them in their own damn den, and he's going to lose.
Yep.
Look now. Now, Pat, you're right. Patrick is right.
Yeah. You can't fight them in their own den. You want to win? You take them to your home field.
I got a question.
Patrick, where do you take them to?
If these officials and whoever else knows what Chris just put out there for us, I mean, it just seems
nobody's calling about it.
To the fact that I mean, what I'm trying to say is, you would think something would have been done about this a long time ago.
Well,
would have been.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay, at like the state level, okay, the judges, the county judges, and everything like that. Okay, only probably the chief judge for that district knows this stuff, okay? The others don't know it, okay? They've never been taught it in school. They've never been handed it up the line. They're there to basically make a profit for the corporation. That's their goal, okay? That's their purpose in life. Now, once they get up to the next level, but see, every judge, even that chief district court judge, has a mentor, a judge that is higher up on the food chain that actually knows. So in some cases, it may be the ultimate person in the state may only be 2 or 3 of the senior judges in the Supreme Court area, not the ones that are on the bench right now, but the senior ones that are off the bench, that are there in a supporting role. Okay, that's why they have senior judges.
Here's the other part.
Wait, Chris, stop. Listen to Pat on this. He knows what he's talking about.
Listen, brother, man. If you let me say what I'm going to say, if you let me say what I'm going to say right now, you
go
will
ahead, Chris. Say what you're going to say.
Okay. In the state of California, and it's universal throughout all 50 states, that the court systems, when they create a court case, they create it from wagering. It's almost a gambling of where at the Judicial Council of the state, they create these vendor vendee contracts, and every case has one. You never get to see the vendor vendee contract, but what they're doing is they're wagering between the corporations, the instrumentalities, the banks, the attorneys, the judges, and any other parties that are the beneficiaries or parties of interest, and how the pie is going to be cut up at the other end of when they adjudicate the matter on behalf of the system, the corporations. And the vendor vendee contract is usually signed off by attorneys as to when they put a case forward in the court, is that they're wagering that they're going to get X amount of dollars, that the judge is going to get a cut of that. And from what we found out, every foreclosure, a judge gets a minimum of $30,000 out of these vendor vendee contracts. And this is part of why when they pull funds out of your Social Security account and they bring that down, those are the charging, the codes, the statutes, regulations, the classification that they put you into, the charging instrument, along with the adjudication, the judgment, the trial, and any sanctions that they may put against you. All of these are bonded and insured. And this is the reasons why I wanted to say this, is because there's a whole bunch of stuff you guys are not aware of that's going on behind the scenes.
Goddamn all right, Chris, you are right. I'm going to say this to everybody.
Stop. Okay.
You are right.
Wait. There's a little more to it, okay? You're right, Chris, that they're putting those things in, okay? But you don't know where they're really going in at, okay? they're going into a place in Washington, D.C. that is known as the bankruptcy court system. You go into the district bankruptcy court system in D.C. They have a website there. Bill, I think you went through the modules on there.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a learning. You can go in there and find out exactly how all of these attorneys are filing all these things against you. It's all in bankruptcy.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
now,
and that's how they're getting access to it. And then there is 2 forms out here to get the money out of the system, and they need to get it through bondage, and they do it with the Federal Reserve banking system, and that is with a trade acceptance or a bank acceptance. Your mortgage is a bank acceptance, okay? It's a 3-year wagering contract that's out there as a bank acceptance that is submitted to the Federal Reserve Bank to print up that amount of money for the mortgage.
Yep.
Then the Federal Reserve takes that bank acceptance and turns around and writes the bonds against it through the Bureau of Public Debt. Now, if it's a state bank, it might be processed through the State Insurance Division. Okay? But at the federal level, I know it's definitely through the Bureau of Public Debt. And those, see that mortgage? You became the underwriter on that mortgage for your fictional person on the left-hand side of that mortgage. This is what I tried to explain to Pat earlier today. She's supposed to have a meeting, I think, Thursday with the mortgage company, and she can go in there and basically put a notice into that mortgage company that basically she revokes all underwritings on that mortgage contract. And it basically claim that there is a conspiracy to defraud because the full payment has been sitting there after 3 years on that mortgage.
It gets even
they
worse
have
than
to
that.
make the payment. Huh?
It actually gets worse than that. If you go to the National Emergency Act under 12 U.S.C. 77, you will find out that part of the relief and remedy that was given and offered to each of the states is not to file bankruptcy in alignment to the bankruptcy of 1933, but to accept the terms and conditions of actually being gifted an opportunity which would resolve relief and remedy for the state. And that was that any of the wire transfers that were coming in under the full faith and credit out of your Social Security accounts were enabled, they were embezzled, if you will, by the state in its various ways, including title companies and with police officers, peace officers, and whatnot. And what they do is they take the wire transfer and they split it. And this is a little bit of like what people are talking about split titles, and that you can't have no alludial or freehold. Is when they do that, what they're doing is they're wagering against you by creating a certificate of title, which becomes a proxy or a security of which is put through the Small Business Administration, and they're put in pooling agreements identical to the pooling agreements for the REMICs, and they are creating a secondary market in the state for the benefit of all the state employees as the profit officers.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm...
Bam.
See,
Chris, you're correct.
What? No, don't argue with it. Okay, I'll take care of this. Okay, what initially started out in 1934 under the Securities and Exchange Act was that basically they were only supposed to do 10 times the amount of bonds for 3 years. Okay, it's supposed to be a 3-year wagering contract. 10 bonds. Okay, now the states and everybody has gotten greedy out of the damn thing, and especially the courts out here. And like in the state of Iowa, they've gone to 65% at 10-to-1 ratio, and then the other 35% at up to 35 times. the ratio so that they can try and get their profit. Now, they've even taken that one step farther in that at the court level, they've tried to turn around and they get you to pay, okay? That traffic ticket does not come off the books because you paid it, okay? It stays on the books for 3 years, so basically you're paying higher interest rates or insurance rates out there because of that traffic ticket that you've already paid for, but it's still on the books, okay? So you're getting slandered, you're getting double jeopardy against that damn ticket, okay? They're turning around and they're utilizing that collateral now and writing additional bonds against that amount of money. They've already got the one against the Social Security account out there, or the driver's license, or whatever out there, but they're adding more to it.
Well,
okay.
It's called. All right, hold on. Y'all, stop.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
the one
anybody.
thing you need to do is like what the guy said the other day, okay? You need to also do a 211 form, okay, with the CID and the 3949A, and also a W-9 form against all the participants that you can think of there, and submit that in. You also put a claim, okay, of conspiracy to defraud into the federal district court magistrate judge as a civil charge. Okay, so you just make it a handwritten one, okay, and submit it right into the federal magistrate judge.
Patrick, one of the things that needs to be explained to some of these folks out here is that pure credit is different than debt instrument. And when they charge you with a debt and they submit that to the DDC or whatever Pat's describing to you as where they take it under the bankruptcy up in Washington, D.C., what they're wanting to get their hands on is that credit. That is actually pure credit. It is T-bill status. And they're not interested in the debt, but what they do is they do the alleged debt, get compensated through the sanctions through the GAO and other forms, legacy accounts and whatnot, for the pure credit, but they don't go back on the double bookkeeping because of the fraud that's involved with that and compensate you by expunging the record. It is up to you, just like what we're talking about. If you know how to get in there and
Let him finish.
Chris.
Yeah. Let him finish on
Chris.
Can you stand down, brother? I'm telling you right now, stand down or I'll stop talking altogether.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. I'm listening. Please, you other guys, listen to him too, okay? Chris has got some outstanding information. He's been working at this along with us for about 5 years now too, okay?
Well, he's not me. It's not mentioned the form CJA 24.
Well, when he's
not mentioned Form 24 CJA. He is not mentioned Form 24 CJA. He is not mentioned that.
What are those forms? Okay, hold on. I'll give you a second to explain what those forms are if we're going to use them, okay? We don't really want to use any forms unless we have to inform on somebody else, okay? If you want to do something out here in the system, like most of the documents like yesterday when I was talking about those documents that we had from 1950s there about the deceased and everything, it said you can either use their forms or you can put it in writing, okay? We do the writing, okay?
Right.
In most cases, we don't want to do forms, but to hit up like the CID, you have to use their form to get to them because they enter that into their process. And they are on the, from what I can see, they're on the civil side of the ledger book.
Can I complete my thinking?
Yeah, now go ahead, Chris.
Okay. Because of the wire transfer of full faith and credit is embezzled at the state level as a provision that's backed by the federal government under the National Emergency Banking Act, is that the state embezzles that and creates a split title and double bookkeeping, of which you'll probably never ever see. This stuff does exist. When they take that principle and put it out on unregulated securities under municipals and mutual funds market, is that they're counting on the fact that you're going to tithe out of your own pocket as to match the capital gains on those pooling agreements. When you fail, now they're charging you with failing to tithe or give the amount of money as to pay for the double bookkeeping, when in actuality, everything was already paid for under the full faith and credit. So the United States may not be the exact problem here. What is the problem is the state engaged with not taking that wire transfer as a pure credit and as the compensation for the bankruptcy as full payment that would expunge your record completely. Because of that, what they consider is that you're paying in Federal Reserve notes, which are debt instruments that you will never be forgiven, and your record will never be expunged, predicated on the fact that you're only giving them debt instrument and that there is no existence of the principal amount, because they embezzled it when it came into the state for full compensation based off your Social Security account.
Yeah.
Damn, you good, mother. I told you, you're right. You're right.
But the state comptroller, just like the federal comptroller of the currency, has to expunge after 3 years those bonds that are out there against those instruments.
Yeah, but what they're filing is a 1099-A as an abandonment for the collection of all the principal, which is T-bill status credit.
Yes,
they're picking up because that's all 90 days same as cash.
Yes.
Remember, the 3 years for them is, but the 3 years for them is 3 months. The 3 years for them is 3 years.
But it's what they're doing, okay? They're picking up the money that you paid out of your back pocket, okay? They've held the ticket open. They've written bonds against that ticket. They've used that collateral that we put up there, that $150 seatbelt violation. They've written bonds against it, okay? They've written bonds against the Social Security account or against the driver's license by way of the Social Security account through the insurance division at the state level. Now, at the end of 3 years, they pick up the $150 off the table. Now the account is settled there. The ticket is dead, okay? They've gotten all the extra interest off of that, so they claim that with a 1099-A, and then they turn around and claim all the other interest that was written from the other bonds from the driver's license as now as abandoned property.
Right.
Yeah, so they've got triple dipping. Why do you think these mortgages and everything, if you pay a house off for 3 years, why do you think it cost you 3 times the original purchase price of that house? They're not doing double dipping, they're doing triple dipping. Everything happens in threes.
Because James have a bond and the license to kill. His name is James Bond.
Well, yeah. But basically, we just need to go in and we need to revoke these underwritings, okay? And like I was saying, on the mortgage, you go in and you revoke the underwriting. You come in and then you claim conspiracy to defraud, just like in the movie Brewster's Million, okay?
Bam! See, they do an overriding. They try to do override, and they try to override your stuff with an overriding, and you do an underwriting or balance writing. You have to balance the book.
Yeah. Okay. Just don't override me too much.
James,
okay.
Okay. His license.
Okay.
His license is his license to kill.
You got that? Don't override me too much now. Okay.
Yeah, don't override Patrick.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. Patrick.
You could override the
never
vice.
override. It's impossible to do that.
Now listen.
Override, Patrick.
Okay. Knock it off.
Come on, America.
Listen to me. I'm trying to explain something to you.
Yes,
Okay?
please don't.
The mortgages. Okay? Just listen. You go in, you revoke the underwriting with that mortgage company. You go in and you allege the conspiracy to defraud you, that mortgage has been completely paid, and that you know about the bank acceptance with the Federal Reserve, and that basically all those bonds had to be settled at the end of 3 years. So the money is there. They are the beneficiary. They have made a profit off of that already in the bonds that they were written. Okay? So now they are continuing to try and do a conspiracy to defraud you. You will file a charge with the CID using the 211 form and basically the 3949A and the W-9 against that mortgage company. You will also file, and you will also notify them that you will file a civil charge into the federal magistrate judge for conspiracy to defraud not only you, but the United States of America. You will be the United States of America will be the plaintiff, and you will be the add-on plaintiff in the civil action. You will let the federal prosecutors go after this mortgage company. They don't want to go there. Once you know what you're doing, okay? And you can stand up to these people because they're all operating in a conspiracy to defraud you. But you have to first revoke all of those underwritings, and then you also have to get out there and stop your documents by doing the resignation of the registered agent out there over your certificate of live birth account so you can get your estate back into your back pocket. The same thing with your DD-214. Wherever you registered at with the Selective Service, that is the state you're going to have to go with your Selective Service number to that Secretary of State and do a resignation of that registered agent for that account.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank
Now,
you,
does
Pat.
everybody understand that?
Thank you, Pat. This is Pat. This really helps.
Okay. I
really-
hope I got it through to you. I was hoping for you to hear that.
Yeah, I've been on listening, and it really crystallized what I need to do.
Good. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to help out here is people with mortgages and stuff like that. Not only just sit here around and argue the different philosophies, we need to try and get something really going, like what happened with Sheba, okay, to get her son out of a drug charge by just submitting that document that I put in there about the overt conspiracy, overt act of conspiracy. Basically, it shook the damn prosecutor and the judge and the clerk of the court up enough to say, hey, we're not going to touch this case, dismissed.
He's correct.
That's what we got to do is we got to start shaking them up, scaring the living shit out of them.
Yes.
I mean, when they're facing 2 years in prison just on a conspiracy charge, that's not talking about 18 U.S.C. 242 or 42 U.S.C. 1983 items out there that you can also go after them and let the U.S. attorneys in the civil case at the federal level go after them.
But Pat, the whole emphasis that I can reemphasize about the civil servant policies is that no civil servant can be paid with the knowledge in the hands of the Office of Personnel Management, knowing that they're double dipping or triple dipping in any public capacity, holding that office. They are immediately terminated, which is the first stage, the most simplest stage for anybody to act upon any inconsistency for a public civil servant in that duty and obligation of that office, regardless of anything else. Pull their funding for their job, pull their job. Now they're completely naked, ready to be prosecuted for any further actions that you wish to bring, such as Title 42 or Title 18, 241, and 242. You can prosecute the shit out of them after they lose their job because it's prima facie a referral that they lost their job, predicated on the fact that they were commercializing and profiteering off of a public office and they lost their job because of it.
No, it's what you need to do, okay? It's a very simple thing you need to do, okay? And I told you that it's in that Justin Keene Pandex document that you posted out there, okay? It's right in there that basically both the prosecutor and the defendant, okay, have to have an affidavit on file that they have not given anything to the judge, that they have not bribed the court. Nobody has gone in there and asked for the affidavit from the prosecutor that basically what comes out of the case that the prosecution wins, the profits that the prosecution gets out of that court case, that the judge is not going to get a percentage of that. You need to have that document. That prosecutor has to have that he is not going to give anything out of that document to that judge.
But the problem that we've got, you said that the courts are private, and with the vendor vendee contract that shows all the parties and their beneficiary rights as to have a cut to the pie at the end of a court case, proves just the other side of all of that. And yes, I agree, we need to have a document that challenges them on that. If the judge is a beneficiary, he cannot sit on that court.
That's right. He's not a judge. You just exposed him as not being a judge. He's now just a damn stinking administrator. He's working for Walmart, okay? That's a vice president for Walmart. And basically you go running down the aisle in Walmart, and basically the security guard there in Walmart says, hey, you're fined $25 for running down the aisle. So you're going to go to the vice president, and basically the vice president, who has an interest in the whole damn deal, is going to say guilty. That's bullshit. You get that prosecutor, if that prosecutor does not have that document, that damn court case ain't going nowhere. He's going to dismiss that case because you just scared the shit out of it. Because if he basically is bribing
the judge,
the damn judge, how many years in jail is it for bribing a judge? Look it up.
Well, it's close to bank robbery, and bank robbery is 30 years.
You're damn right.
I think he said 15 years for commercial bribery.
Yeah. See? Scare the hell out of these guys. Start waking up.
What do you think that the Office of Personnel Management would do if we had 1,000 people in the state of California that filed a claim against the 7 million that lost their homes for the same identical thing that we're talking about right now? Do you think we can get some action going on here?
I think we ought to consider it. Sounds like we can shut the system down pretty quickly.
You turn around and you fought. Hey, no, Chris. Okay, you don't do it as a class action. You do it as an individual. If the other people want to find out about this shit, but you do a 211 form, you do a 3949A, and you do a W-9 against that mortgage company that took your damn house. Submit it into them. Now you've got more information, and now you can write up a good explanation of how you got screwed over.
Yeah, class actions don't work. I mean,
Right.
I was
I
in
never
one.
mentioned that. I never mentioned it. I would never do a class action. I would never even mention it. I don't know where he came up with that.
Well, basically, you were talking about everybody getting together or something and putting that into the damn
I
civil.
see. But no, what I'm saying, if you're a homeowner that lost your house, the Office of Personnel Management is the head henchman for any inconsistency for any public civil servant office. They have made it very clear, not even an attorney can be considered any authorized party as to a civil servant. You never have to answer to no one but an elected and or an appointed civil servant that is under oath. Period. They're very strict about this. That means that if an attorney is acting as a commissioner that is not an elected official and not a civil servant, and he's adjudicating matters that affects your probate and or equitable interest, you can have him terminated permanently out of the whole consideration just by filing one claim. If you had 1,000 different people...
That's what I'm saying, Chris. Chris, stop. That's what I'm saying. File one claim. How and who threw Al Capone in prison?
IRS.
The tax man. Okay?
Yeah,
you go to the CID. You let the tax man take care of these guys. The judges. All of these shitheads.
Yep.
They're violating the tax laws. We know it. We can prove it now.
Yep. Full agreement. Because every time they bring your name up in the all cap name, they're doing a transfer of funds.
It don't make any difference, Chris. It don't make any difference whether it's all caps or not. Okay?
I need a charger.
As long as it has a last name attached to it, it's still attached to that certificate of live birth or that driver's license. It's a dead man's name, no matter whether it's in all caps or whether it's capital first letter or whether it's in all small letters. Go out to the cemetery. I've told you for about the last 2 years, the name is not it.
Take a breath.
This will fit in our phone?
Okay? We go in, and all we have to do is now start utilizing what we've got. We've got it all now. We've got it with the Secretary of State. With this last document here, the guy that brought it up, he didn't know what he fully had. He admits it on the damn tape. He jumped the gun. And he admits that he doesn't understand everything about it because he never mentioned one time about underwriting.
That's right.
So he didn't know the whole system out there. But we've got the other side of the coin, and that was the big side, is the underwriting.
Well, that's where we come into play here, is because we've been working on those probably a little bit more than him, or at least from a different angle. I'm not going to say how long he's, but the beauty about it is that we are so blessed with being able to have calls where people in their own little teeny worlds are exposed that actually are perfect fits with what we've been looking for and what we've been working on. And I'm very excited with these latest documents and that call that Angela had the other day. I'm just very, very happy with that. It's because now we've got a ticket through the indoor, and we know that the Secretary of State is the foundational place to go as to do any of our activities. And this first document,
well, it's not the foundational. It's basically where we need to go to get our leased instruments, our leased collateral that is out there to get returned back to us, okay?
That's foundational.
But you have to get the underwritings removed first before you can have that freed up.
Yep, I have to agree
Okay.
with that. Yep.
Yeah, until it's free, it can't be retrieved.
Well, is there any redemption through the dissolution paperwork that can be utilized or considered for the folks that have been through that process? Is there anything in there that you can mention to everybody that we
you
can
can
utilize?
look at those documents and you can pull out bits and pieces out of there and utilize it. But this modified Form 56 establishing you as the curator over the curator relationship over your deceased EIN and deceased Social Security number, and then you're going to be processing this under your 98 Series 4 and Grantor Trust EIN into a private holding pattern. Okay? With that document, you've got a lot. The affidavit that I did about 2 months ago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a supportive document also.
Yep.
And then
So in
also
other
that
words,
you surrendered the Social Security account and notify the Secretary of State also that if you have a voter registration card, a driver's license, that you are revoking all underwritings for those items, and you are ordering those to be liquidated also.
So the other day you were talking about expatriation, and we didn't have a chance to talk in fullness about your reflection about this current moment that we're working with. You want to elaborate that with anybody on the group right now about the expatriation considerations that you were trying to share with me the other day when we were cut off?
When you do this, you are expatriating away from the insurance world. Okay? That's where you're patriated right now, is to the insurance world. So when you terminate all these insurance policies, you have just expatriated away from them. And you have that right. You have a right to your own religion. They cannot force a religion upon you. That's a violation of the First Amendment. And that's what all this insurance is a false religion. So the cop comes up to you and asks you where your insurance is. My insurance is, you're standing on it. Okay? It's the land.
Yeah, he won't understand that, but that's good.
Yeah. Stacy, if I need some collateral, I will go and dig it up.
Just for everybody else's reference.
There's more coal, copper, oil, gold out here in this country that has been dug up already. So we know there's more assets in the ground. That's our security. That's our homeland security. It belongs to us, the people. Anything that's below the ground belongs to the people. That's what the movie Devil and Daniel Webster pointed out. That the dead have to support the living. So anything that's underground has to support what's above ground.
Just a comment for everybody to consider. Years ago, when I was working with Dwight class, we discovered that the SR-22, where you can actually post a $50,000 bond, it would be the proper way of having insurance so you can drive around. I know that if you were to find the proper way of doing a bill of exchange on your Social Security account, is that you could post an SR-22 and never ever have to pay another penny for insurance and still be within the law that they're dictating.
You don't need that SR-22, okay?
I know, but I'm only putting it that, Pat, the people need to know this stuff.
Oh, no, they don't. It'll confuse the hell out of them. They're having a hard enough time just trying to follow what the hell I'm doing in the simple process of closing down the Social Security account and basically trying to get their real assets. And now they've got to try and figure out how to operate in the real world, okay? We don't want to stay in the fictional world, okay? Most of the people that are out here on this line want to get out. Don't hang them up halfway in midstream.
Well, you can still post a $50,000 bond.
You do not fucking post any fucking bond. You want to bond yourself, then stay in their fucking system. Okay? Bondage is bondage. You're a slave.
Patrick, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
I'll try and tone it down a little for you.
Hi, Gita. Hi, Pat. I was going to ask about the UCC 1 and 3. Do you know, because, I haven't done anything yet like that.
If you haven't done them, you don't, from what we're seeing right now, you really don't have to have them, okay? You can make a valid claim without them, okay? We've done these, and basically we've stymied them a little, but still a UCC1 is in their system, okay? Okay, so we don't need to have a UCC1 because basically when we claim our stuff, and we're the only one that can make a valid claim against those accounts. Okay? Nobody else can really make a claim against them. Okay?
By revoking all underwriting.
Yeah, we revoke all underwriting, and then basically we surrender the documents to them, and now they have to give us back. And
so that's like the trump card, basically. You're saying.
Yes, and see that's the trump card is either your hospital birth certificate or your entry into the Bible. Okay? And then for a military guy, it was his selective service by registering to defend the land. Okay? He was willing to defend the land. The land owes him now. Okay? Not the state. Okay? The state don't own anything, so they can't give us anything, but they had to store our assets for our benefit. And this is not one of their benefits, but this is one of the earthly benefits. A real benefit, not their fictional benefits that they try and throw at us. That belongs to us. That was an inheritance, a right, and not a privilege. It's a right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I'm just muting a lot because there's noise in my house.
Well, any other thoughts on it or questions or anything?
Yeah.
I think if we just look at the documents that I posted in there, you are an American curator, and take a look at those documents, and then listen to the audios here. Now you might want to mute out part of it.
Selectively.
Just try and make heads or tails out of it, and then get into a working group with several other people to talk this stuff over. I mean, that's not the only way you can really get a good handle on this, is to sit down and talk this over with 2 or 3 other people out here to get a handle on it. You can try it in front of the mirror, but basically the mirror ain't going to talk back to you, so you're sort of handicapped a little that way.
Patrick?
Yeah.
For a non-judicial state, are we going to be just going to the mortgage companies and then maybe to the sheriff's office since they've handled the sheriff's auction?
I would notify the sheriff out of a deal. Yeah. If they basically, if they basically participated in it, you inform them. Anybody that basically participated and possibly made money out of a deal, okay? And see, that sheriff's office is not just, I mean, it's still registered on the damn Dun and Bradstreet. All of these are corporations out here.
Right.
So, basically, if they got, and basically I wouldn't put a bet past them that the damn mortgage company was giving a kickback or made a payment to that sheriff's department. But, like I said, you file the 3949A along with the 211, and see the 211 is basically your claim to against them, and basically, in a lot of cases, you're going to get, what was it, 35% or something like that. I think one of the guys the other night said something along that lines.
Yeah, instead of 10%, it's now 35.
Yeah, but and that would be possibly over and above what you actually lost. What is the extra retrievable that the IRS is able to pick up from these mortgage companies?
And also the law firm that was involved with drawing up the paperwork then, too.
Yeah, you could put them down, and then you also, so you send it into the CID, and then you also put a civil complaint in with the federal magistrate judge as a conspiracy to defraud both you and the country, the United States of America, not just the United States corporation country.
Yep. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. I thought I was understanding it correctly, but I wanted to put it out there for the people that were in non-judicial states.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Patrick, it's Ray. I have a question on the Trump card. I've been trying to research my end on this side. It's a little bit different because we were a monarchy before here, and going all the way back to the Majesty King Kalakawa's statutes from 1842, I even called missions, churches who used to do christenings, and they do have a tradition of making book entries into the Bible, but it was done more on the churches in the private, and a lot of those records were lost. It was the minister of the interior that was appointed by the governor, that was appointed by the king, that used to manage all of these birth records. So we never really had a tradition of book of life entry like probably in Iowa. And
no, basically what I told people about the Bible, okay, if you don't have a hospital birth certificate and you don't, your parents didn't have a Bible when you were growing up or whatever, and never put it in the book, okay, you make your Bible entry now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
Basically,
it.
you make it, okay? You're putting your writing into the book of law.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, that's almost like, I mean, you're doing that, I mean, that's the highest law there is, basically, out here. That scares the hell out of everybody, okay? So if you come in there with your Bible and you open it up to that page and see there's no signature on the damn thing that says who put this entry in there or when this entry is put in there. So try and find an old Bible that basically was around the time that you were born anyway, printed, so you don't get one that just came off the printing press tomorrow, okay?
Right. All right.
Try and use a little common sense out here just to try and throw these guys off a little, okay?
Right.
But
you
go in there and say, hey, this is my Bible entry. This is where it says that I weighed this much and that basically I was born, I was birthed on this date. okay, and that I had valid parents, okay, so I was not an illegitimate. My fiction was an illegitimate, but I'm not, okay, and my birth weight is this, and then basically also when you're going to want to get your birth weight in gold, okay, you take a copy of that Bible page and you send it into the curator at the Philadelphia Mint and say, hey,
right.
I'm here to collect my birth weight in gold.
Right. Okay, no, thank you. That clears up that authority on the curator on that relationship document you posted last week.
See,
Thanks a lot.
You can put make up your own documents. Okay, we are the word curator and creator are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
At least that's what they tried to make everybody think, that basically a curator is really the creator, and it's some hocus pocus guy. Well, no, it's you. Okay?
All right. Yeah, no, I've just been customizing everything and using yours just as reference. Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you for clearing it up. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, any of these documents that basically if you don't have them on there, you can use something else. Okay? Be creative.
I'm going to be a 71. I'm going to be a 71-pound baby.
No, I don't think so. I think Os Cartwright was about one of the biggest ones, and he was 14 pounds something, I think.
71 pounds of gold would be good.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it'll weigh you down. You can't swim with that much across the lake too far.
Got a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
So, since because of this RA 100, whatever, are we still doing bills of exchanges and stuff like that?
Yeah, we can do our own bills of exchange, and we'll send them in through the Secret Service to have them process them to the Secretary of State or to the Secretary of the Treasury. The Secret Service is our Homeland Security agents, okay? We're the PEO, the Principal Executive Officer. Who does the Secret Service protect in Washington, D.C.? The Principal Executive Officer of the United States Corporation, the President. Well, we're the Principal Executive Officer of our homeland, and basically, so they're supposed to be out here being our agents at the local level. That's why they were assigned out here. I asked several of these secret agents guys, why in the hell are you out here in the state of Iowa? I thought you guys only protected the president. That's what you keep telling me. Well, we're just here to protect the president. Well, the president isn't here, so get the hell out of the state then. Get back to protecting him if that's what you're supposed to be doing. No, they're here for another reason. They're here to protect us. We are the Principal Executive Officer here. They are our interface with the public world.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
Go ahead.
How you doing, Patrick? This is Kevin. I want to know, where do you go to locate your local Secret Service for California? Say, for instance.
You go into the Secret Service website and you look up for field offices.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a whole list of all the different states, and they have a phone number, and then basically you can go in there and later on use dogpile.com search engine and type in Secret Service for the state of California. Okay? And basically it should come up with several pages because there's probably a Secret Service I know in, let me see, what state did I look up the other day? North Carolina or South Carolina? Anyway, there was about 4 different offices in that state.
Yeah, I found Secret Service for Toledo, Ohio, with a quick, simple Google.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of the time you'll find them in the state capital because they've got to be there interfacing with, see, they're in charge of the Enterprise Financial Management System, okay, which ties back to that super security or super Social Security computer, insurance computer that is located, I don't know where it actually is at Woodlawn in Maryland, like the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance had them. But there is a super Social Security insurance, and see, that's where all these insurance underwritings are also being tracked through. So the Social Security, and then see, even the federal buildings, okay, the federal courthouses and everything have computers tied into them. I told the security guards at the federal courthouse and the annex where the bankruptcy's at, and there's more offices in those damn buildings than just a few attorneys and a few judges there. There's computers and everything else there that they're writing bonds and everything else off against. There's a whole accounting division there in those buildings. And that's why the security is so damn tight around those buildings, is because they're protecting the computers. They're not protecting the living people in those buildings. They give a shit about it, just like the Merle federal building out there in Oklahoma. They didn't give a shit about the people. The equipment is what they wanted to destroy, and that's what the Bushes basically and the Clintons needed to destroy, was all the drug documentation that they had against them. Yeah, you destroy the computers and everything. See, that's why World Trade Center building number 7 came down, because they had the Securities and Exchange documentation. They had an ongoing investigation into a lot of the fraud that was going on in the insurance build system, the mortgage system out there. And basically, a lot of that data was lost. But people don't see what the hell really takes place, and you got to look at it from a total money standpoint. Where is the money?
Yeah, what happened to all that gold that was in there?
Yeah, the $160 billion underneath Building Trade Center number 4 that was stored from the York Bank that Prescott Bush was the president of, and that he was brought up on treason charges, and then that was dismissed, and then he turned around and became a state senator. Yeah, hell of a good guy.
Patrick, got another question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
On your bill of exchange, I've looked up the word tenor, but I'm not quite sure if I'm understanding what you're trying to do with the word tenor up there with a blank behind it.
Oh, well, that just means that this is on site. As soon as you tender that, okay, they have to honor that. So you can have a tender that is 7-day time tender period. Tender is just the period of time that you allow them to process this.
Okay.
Okay, and we want it on site. As soon as they see it, now they're under the obligation. The clock starts then. Okay, and then they have 3 days to make delivery.
So as soon as it's on site, their site, they need to tender it.
Right. And see, the problem was that we were sending these into the Treasury Department, and basically all the faxes and everything. That's what I found out last Friday, talking to one of the operators out there, and I told her what fax number I was using, and 6415. And she says, "Oh, that's the general one. Let me see if I can find you a better one." She came back and said, "No, I can't find a better one. So you probably just have to wait 2 to 3 weeks to see that they should get back to you in that amount of time." Well, I don't sit still that long, okay?
Right.
I'm doing something else when something don't happen within 2 or 3 days. Okay? So I told her that was bullshit, and basically just like in the movie, Now You See Me, as soon as I said the word bullshit, she hung up the phone, just like when he mentioned the word bullshit in the movie, the people went into a trance.
They started playing their Mozart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you're suggesting that we go to the Secret Service with these bills of exchange.
Yeah, we have to process them through our agents because they are also our enforcement agents. They're working for us in the Department of Homeland Security. We're the department, and we're the chief executive officer of that department, so they work for us.
And plus
we
they're
give them
local.
an executive order to process this.
Plus they're all local. They should be able to find us real easy.
Yeah. But they can turn around and process this through. Now, one of the other things is I don't want checks. I want real currency because we need to put currency into circulation out here, real asset-backed currency. Because when everything collapses, the only thing that's going to be left out here is real asset-backed currency. All this funny money is going to be pulled off the shelf.
Yeah.
The banks will try and pull the other stuff off, but basically, if we do it right, we will have a stockpile of this available to put back into circulation.
So they can't make a false created shortage.
Right.
Like
we will try and combat it, and basically it may be only in a localized area out here. We can't. We haven't got enough people here to do it for the whole damn country, but we can try and help what little bit we can.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, you always got to be trying to think outside the box and try and stay one jump ahead of them. Sort of like in the movie Now You See Me, also, where the magician said that I'm 2 steps ahead of you or whatever. We're trying to stay ahead of them.
We'll sure give it a good try anyhow.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions there?
The 192 and the 196 forms, the FMS?
In re-looking at those, we're already in their system, so we don't need those. Yeah, I thought initially looking at those and then comparing them to the other documents that I had there from the 1950s, I thought that they went sort of hand in hand, but then the more I looked at it and the more I read the different documents, for like the checking accounts and the credit card accounts and everything else, we're already there. We just have to come in and do our written request to have those taken place. But we need to first get done with our revoking the Social Security account and or surrendering it to that war risk insurance director or his replacement. I don't know who in the hell it might be, but somebody in the Treasury knows who in the hell that would be. And the Secret Service, they can definitely find out. We give them a starting point of 1919 and have them go find out who changed or who took over that office down the road. Okay? So we give them a starting point. Now they can track it down. Okay? And then we shut down and revoke all underwritings, and then we turn around with the state and we claim our collateral off the books. Now they have to give us access within 3 days to those funds because they cannot deprive us from commerce.
Patrick, say again about the risk. What office we supposed to be trying to find in the risk insurance?
It's
War
go
risk
into
insurance.
volume 41. I've got the link. I've got the actual pages posted up in that American. You are an American curator folder.
That's right.
In the file section, and it's volume 41, and it's about page 371 starting in that volume, and it's the war risk insurance out there, and it's from 1919. The first one was, I think, in 1917, and then modified in 1919. It also talks about the USS Cyclops in that document, and basically that's what the Social Security became, the all-seeing eye, or the Cyclops that's sitting on top of the pyramid, the monster, okay? The Cyclops monster insurance contract. Might watch Percy Jackson and the Sea Monster also. They got Cyclops in that one. I think I'm getting better at the movies than Jack Smith was.
Who's Jack Smith?
He was a guy that's up there in around Cleveland. I forget what groups he's working for, Remedies something group or something up there.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Is that right way law?
When we
That
handwrite
might be. That could be it, yeah.
The remedy is the law or something like that?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in years.
Right way law, I think, was where he's at.
Uh-huh.
You associate with.
Yeah, we had dinner together out here in Iowa back in about 2010 or so. 2000, maybe about 2009. He came out and had a seminar out here. Him and Victoria Joy.
Hey, Patrick, when you're doing like handwriting your documents in, is the ink color, is that a factor, or is that just a bunch of hula?
Well, basically, unless you've got real neat handwriting, I would type it. Okay, and black, and then basically your signature, I'd use blue to stand out on the document, and then seal it with a red thumbprint. And then if you've got an embosser, emboss over that. But I am signing everything at the top of the document. Okay? I'm going to be the oversigner of everything, not an undersigner of anything.
And we should make up our own what was that form again? That RA 100.
No, basically you take a look at it. I think you're still signing over the dead person. I think the dead person's signature is under yours. At least it is on the document that I've got for the state of Iowa. I think it's that way.
Yeah, this one is side by side.
Yeah. Just as long as you're not really the last signature on the damn document.
Yeah, so we could sign it at the top.
Yeah, and then basically on these documents, there's no penalty of perjury. So basically, this isn't going to be one that can be held against you.
The one for Nebraska has a $1,000 penalty on it.
Huh?
The one for Nebraska has a $1,000 penalty on it.
Okay, well, that's basically, yeah. They're not going to be able to get it from you anyway, okay, because you're not doing anything wrong.
The one from Vermont, you have to pay $25 to file.
Take a look, okay? These should be free forms, okay? You need to read the instructions very carefully. Like even the one for the state of Iowa is $5 if you are basically a limited partnership or 2 or 3 other categories, but for 2 of the categories, it's free.
Yeah, this is limited.
You got to make sure you've got the right document that go through all their forms and make sure that they don't have one set aside there somewhere that's doesn't have a fee.
I think every single form they have has a fee.
Well, not necessarily, okay? You'd be surprised. Some of them are hidden away.
I'll have to really scour.
Yeah, you might be able to just turn around and handwrite one out and send it in to them.
Yeah.
Well, your thumbprint and your seal on it, send it into the Secretary of State. Say, here's my resignation of my fictional person or the certificate of live birth. He's no longer an agent for me.
Because it really doesn't fit into any of their categories.
Yeah. And then put your other document there, your curator, whatever document there.
The curator relationship.
Yeah, relationship. It's been quite a long time since I've had a real relationship, so I sort of lost track of that word.
Not in your vocabulary.
That's not my vocabulary right now.
For Minnesota, the Office of Minnesota Secretary of State, it says for an assumed name, cancellation, or reservation of name, there's no fee to get that resignation.
Yeah, so that'd be, no fee here in Iowa. I think California, there was no fee for it. So, yeah, there should be no fee for this because basically this is in the du jour.
Someone's got their speakers going.
Okay, you guys just about burned out. I am.
What does the RA stand for?
What?
The RA.
Don't know. It's a California form.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Chris. Chris, you still on the line?
It probably stands for registered agent is what it's showing up here on some of the stuff in Minnesota.
Makes sense.
So you said we need to fill one of those out for our own state?
Yeah, you need to find one for the state.
For your birthing state.
A resignation. What was it again?
Resignation of registered agent.
Okay. Registration of registered agent. Okay. Resignation of registered agent. Thank you.
Yeah.
My question is that if you've already sent out your faxes, but on the previous file before you did this one, I mean, how would we know when to do the RA 100?
You just keep throwing them at them, okay? In a lot of cases, what we've submitted already, basically, we haven't heard anything back from them, okay? Then basically, they're operating in the public. So now when we send this in, okay, this ought to get some attention because now this is coming in from the de jure side, from the civil side. And then when you put your relationship document in there along with it, okay, and that you are, whether you put a copy of your certificate of live birth with it, I don't know. If you want to, you can. Just put a copy of it, scan a copy of one in, and put it in there. See, on the California one, it's got a place for a registration, for the registration number. On the state of Iowa one, it doesn't. But it doesn't say that you can't attach additional supportive information to support your claim, especially if you're going to be ordering it to be terminated.
Any more questions, guys? I think Patrick's given a lot of good information there. I think what he said earlier is right. We've got to get down to actually doing stuff. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get ourselves in small groups on specific tasks, and let's get it done.
Okay.
Yes, we've got a lot of good forms to work on tomorrow.
Well,
hey, one last question, Patrick. What was some of those alternative names of that Resignation of Agent form? There was another term you mentioned.
Well, there was one to change the name or to change the business entry address. I think address and but if you look, sort of pull up your business forms for the Secretary of State's office and go down through the list of forms they have and then look for anything on registered agent, or go into your state codes and type in registered agents and read what it says in the codes, and the codes might tell you what form to use.
Okay, gotta check through the code. All right.
Okay, you should always check out, and that's one thing they had on there was also reference the codes down there to read what the code said, because the instructions may not have all what the code has on it, so you should always go to the codes, their codes, to see what some of these, when you're using one of their forms, to make sure you're filling it out properly.
In the Nebraska
I know I hate to use their damn codes, but sometimes we have to until we get out of the system.
The Nebraska form is titled Domestic Change of Registered Agent and or Office, and the Ohio one actually doesn't even have a title. Or wait, maybe on the second page here. Statutory agent update. And that may be limited to representative of a corporation. I should look for other forms.
Yeah, see, that's what they basically call the procurator is an agent, but he procreated our assets away from us, and we killed him off with the SS4, basically declaring him dead. So we got an estate EIN now, and now we come in and basically we're going to order the liquidation of all of his assets out there, all his insurance policies and everything.
Hi, Patrick.
Patrick, couldn't we send them a statement in and see if they request that we fill out a form and not have to send any money in too?
Well, basically, if they have a form there and it's asking for money, then I would call them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do, is call them up and see if there are whether I picked the right form or whether there might be another form that I need to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might have one hidden away there that basically is not really out in the open, but it's somewhere in their documents. That's why I said if you do a word search on the codes for that state, you might find something hidden away there, and you might find a different form number.
Right. Because they do have a ton of them. There's 5 pages of them.
And see, that's what a computer is for, okay? You've got to use the computer for what it was designed for, was to help you go through all the massive bullshit that's out there.
Yep. Got to clean out the barn.
Yeah, it's the screening system.
Patrick, you just said that you kill off your with the W-4 and then get your estate EIN. Is that the right sequence, or does it matter which sequence?
You mean the SS4?
SS4, not W-4.
No, the SS4, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to get that estate EIN. You should have that, okay?
Right. But that can you get the estate EIN before you kill them off?
Well, if you haven't done it, go without it, okay?
Okay.
If you've got it, go with it, okay?
Okay, so either sequence, either order.
Either one, okay? Just go for it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you get the wrong order.
Yeah, but I would definitely get that 98 series number or that foreign grantor trust number so that you have basically a accessing port to basically be ready to put your funds into.
Right. Just to verify, find what I thought. Thank you.
Oh. Okay.
Hey guys, any more
Anybody
questions?
else? Okay,
yeah, as long
Tom,
as nobody's going to sabotage the group. You got a lot of information, which is good, and I like it when we don't argue or fuss with one another, or we're being out boisterous. Last couple of days has been somewhat atrocious. You know, I mean, we want the information badly, and we really appreciate your work, but all the rest of this nonsense that's going on is very tiresome. You know.
Well, yeah. You gotta sort of realize that there's been a lot of other people out here putting extra effort in, and they think that they don't have quite the full understanding of the money system, and that's one of the key things out here is to concentrate on where the money's at. Okay, that's the whole understanding. Until you get a handle on it, You're not really going to have, not that basically these courts and everything else aren't doing some of this stuff over here, but basically that's their problem. That's theirs to worry about.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I know this because if people just take it as, look, you're using a debt instrument, dollars, money, it's dead. It's just an instrument. The credit comes from you. You have given us the education on that. Yeah. And I have clarity on that, so I don't argue with that. But I was saying in so many words how, you know, I really enjoy this group, but the last couple of days it just got kind of like overwhelming because I really want to hear what you have to say and what Chris has to say and Baker and a couple other people. But when other people just jump in there, disturb and all this background noise, man, it takes away from the flow. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, some of the people are new and they are excited and interested in what we're doing. They have to get a little bit more familiar where we've reached. But I think that process is happening.
Look, I certainly hope so, because in a way, it felt like we was being sabotaged.
Well,
I mean, that's only to me.
The other guys were just trying to get their points across, and they had some valid points. Okay.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. But it really. But we have no control over those items that they were trying to bring up. That's what I'm trying to get across to people. Is if we don't have control over it, then basically we don't need to worry about it. Okay.
Yes.
We can only handle what we have or know that we have direct control over. And, we can put we know that the courts are doing this, so basically we turn it over to the CID or to the Secret Service and let them take care of that. They know how to investigate all the extra stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, you did, and this is Libram X, alias Marvell. You did say something very simple, very basic. We all are creators.
Yeah.
And you have to sit down, think about it, because these are their paperwork. Do you really want to use their stuff? No. You can. If people can see your example, see what you have done for all these years, you haven't actually used other people's stuff. I mean, you have the information, and then you sit back and say, wow, you know what? This is their junk. Let me do something about this. Let me give them something different. And you have. That's what I have enjoyed. And a large part of the group, like Christopher and a couple other guys, they come up with some beautiful information that we can use because they're going back through time. Like someone posted the plot against the American people. If you need kindle to the fire and find out what's going on, please go back in time. Read it. These guys been plotting this against us for a long time, and they're so arrogant. They even used the statement, hey, even if they know about it, we'll let a few of them get away. But we have the arsenal on our side, which is lies and deception. And I hope the group get that part. That's the only thing they have on their side.
Basically, everybody's on this group, okay, has been able to change and to go when we know that we're on the wrong track, has been able to get onto a slightly different track to try and keep moving forward. Okay, we're not like most of the other people out there, and that's why I enjoy everybody that's basically even brought in arguments on here. Is that basically they're willing to go further. They're willing to change tracks and not stay on the same old item, fighting it constantly for 3 years. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Because we don't want to become stuck. If we see something that don't work, try something else. Give it out to the share the information. That's what you're doing, and that's what I like. You know, and we're not trying to, like you say, underwrite on their paperwork. We're overwriting on our own.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah, we're on the opposite side of the looking glass, so we're going to do everything opposite what they do.
That's right. And I like to say.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay. Anybody else?
Any more questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's call tonight then. Go ahead and terminate
thank
it.
you. Thank you for everything, Patrick.
You're welcome. You have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
Okay.
Bye now.
Okay, bye.